This meeting is being recorded.
All right. So I already created like a main.py file where we have all of our code. But at the end of the day, we're also going to create another module, right? Which I already created, and we'll talk a bit about all of them. But let's start from how to define and call a function. We already talked about it. So you just use the def keyword, which means definition, right? So before we talk about this one, let's just go. So I want to create a function. I'll just say def function. I'll call it my new function. I don't need to pass any arguments for now. Since this is a simple function, print hello world. Now, once I was called the function, all I need to say is my new function. That's how to call function. Right? So you see now it's saying one usage, which means I've used it once. If I use it more than once, it tells you how many usage I've used it, 4 usage. Now, if I also print this, say it prints 4 times, right? Then if I remove 3, it prints just once, as you can see. So what is a function? A function is a block of code that can be reused, a reusable block of code, right? Let me just write that down. What is a function? Then, good. They even give us the definition. Press enter here and press enter here. So a function is a block of code that only runs when it is called. You can pass data known as parameters into a function. A function can return data as a result, right? So if I do not call the function like this, it will not run. It's there on my code, though, but it won't run. You see that nothing happened. It's there on my code. It says print, but it won't run because I have not called it. But when I call it like this, my new function, it runs. So that's what I mean by a function is a block of code that only runs when it's called. And you can also reuse the block of code. So that means I can now call hello world twice, as you can see in the console. Then it also says you can pass data into it. So I'm going to remove this hello world. It says you can pass data into it, known as parameter. So this name here is called a parameter, right? Now, when you call it, so I'm going to uncomment all of this out, right? Name is a parameter. Then when you call it, when you pass something here, Alice is an argument, right? So the name here is a parameter, but whatever you're passing into the function is called an argument, right? So that's something that you need to know, right? So you can pass data into a function. This is our function. Definition, the name of the function is greet. This is a parameter that will pass into the function. Now I can do anything I want with the function or with the parameter. I can print hello, then pass the parameter into the console, or I can return this, but I don't want to return at the moment, so I'm going to remove it. So right now, if I just call it, it's going to print hello Alice to the console. Look at it. Can you see? Hello Alice. Simple. A function to greet a person. Hello Alice, and that's done. Do you have any questions so far?
Yes, it's supposed to point to hello Alice.
Why 2?
Okay,
no, just tell me. Why 2?
I thought that this print hello name is supposed to print hello Alice, and this greet Alice will now print another hello Alice, but it was
Okay. No. So what happens is this greet is now saying everything inside this function, I want you to do them. And everything inside the function is just one print. Do you understand?
yes,
Exactly. So it's going to print just one hello Alice. So if I say, oh, okay, I want to do two hello Alice, then I do this two, then it's going to print two hello Alice. Do you understand?
yes,
All right, good. So that is a function that has that's got a parameter and argument, right? Now we can also do like default parameters. We talked about default parameters in our last class. Do you remember what default parameters are?
no,
Default parameters are parameters that, you know, they have default values. So even if I don't pass an argument, it's going to use the default value. Do you understand?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
So what's the default value in this greet function that we created?
world,
Wow, exactly. Right. So this is the default value. So if I call this, if I run this program now, what would be printed to the console?
hello world,
Good, good. Hello world. Now, in a situation where I do this, what will be printed to the console?
hello, hello Alice,
Good. Hello, Alice. The reason is because now I have passed something into it. So it will ignore the default parameter. Because I passed
yeah,
something, it's not going to use the default parameter. It's going to use what I passed into it. The default parameter would only run if I did not pass anything into it. Do you understand that?
yes.
Good. So that's pretty simple. Now, before we talk about the other one, I want to now talk about when a parameter returns a value. So all the other functions that I'm executing, they do not return values, right? They just do print. Can you still see my screen?
No, yes, no,
Okay. So they do not return value. They just do print. Let me look for it. So like this one now, greet here. Come in. Oh, I think my screen has stopped sharing. Let me share now. Can you see the screen now? Hello, can you see the screen now?
yes,
All right, good. So this grid here does not have a return value, it just prints. The same with this other grid. But then there's this one that we created, add function. What the function does is it adds the first parameter with the second parameter and returns the value. So if I call it like this, add, and I pass 5 and 10, it's going to return the value into result, and then we have the result of 15. So let's see the result of 15, right? So what the return does is it gives you, like, if I give you a piece of matchstick and I tell you give it back to me, you're going to hand it over to me. That's what the return value does. It just hands over the result to the user, right? So if I say A plus B plus A, it's going to add A to B, then add to A again. So in this case, 5 plus 10 plus 5 will be 20. This is going to return 20. Are you following?
Yes, but what if you add a string?
It's going to give you an error. So if I do, sometimes it will give you an error, sometimes it will not give you an error because of the way this addition sign behaves in Python. So now it's giving an error because I converted to a string saying that unsupported operand type for int and string. So that's an error.
No, not actually that one. That result is equals to add. What will happen if you put something like C plus F? Yes, there.
Like this.
Yes.
Yeah, it's still going to do the same thing, I think. Let's see. Yeah, still doing the same thing because it's also a string. So you have to pass an integer.
Okay.
Yeah. So then it returns the value. So that's what return type does. Any questions so far?
No.
All right. Good. So now the other thing that I want to now talk about is give me a second. Okay, yeah. So variable length argument, right? It's more like you're passing more than one argument, but you want to use one parameter to accept it. So what you do is you put an asterisk to say that this is more than one name that I'm passing. Now, once it comes in, it sees, let's see what it sees. It sees names as well. Let's see. So if I print names, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to print names. I meant to print type of names. So it sees this as a tuple, right? Remember we talked about tuple in the last class. Sees this as a tuple, and you can now loop through that tuple to get the name. So it says hello Alice, then return hello join class of names. But because I am not doing anything with this return statement, it's not going to print it. But let me do something with the return statement. Print great. Yeah, like this. So I run this. It's going to return hello, Alice, Bob, and Charlie. Let me remove this add so that we know what we're looking at. All right. So the tuple, why is there two types of tuple? Let me remove this one. Plus tuple, hello, Alice. Oh, okay. It's because I called it twice. So let me remove this other one. Now, if I run it and just do the print, so it says that it prints hello Alice, which is this print, right? But it didn't loop through all of them because there's a return statement, and the return statement also is the end of the function. Anytime you put return statement, that's the end of the function. So even if this function is not done, it's going to escape and jump out of that function. So you see that after it went once, just return hello and joined all the names together. Now hello Alice, Bob, and Charlie, right? So this is if you want to pass a tuple or a variable length argument into a function. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. I hope you don't have any questions. If you have any question, just ask because your assignment will be coming from all of these things that we're learning.
Why did you use that apostrophe, comma, apostrophe? Then
This
join.
one, okay.
Yes.
So it's a function in Python that helps you to add a list together. Let me use, sorry. So, sorry. So what it does is it adds, you see hello here? This hello comma space is this hello here. So now what this function does this, sorry, this apostrophe comma, it says join all the names that was passed in and separate them with comma. So you have Alice. Alice was passed in. Then the comma and space that we have here. We will join the next one, Bob, comma and space. We join the next one, Charlie, comma and space. So if I add more to this, let me put Fred. Um, let me put Cassie. And finally, let me put one more. Stanley. Stanley. All right, good. So if I add more, it's just going to add all of them. JC, right? It adds them. But if I do this, let me just print all the names, right? You see how it's printed them. See the way it printed the names. We printed them in a tuple like this, right? But this join argument, what this join argument does is it joins them into one sentence. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Good.
But I have a question again.
What's the question?
How come you typed in that print names before the names and it actually gave you the names in a tuple?
Because the name is coming in from the argument, from the parameter here. So even if I've not used the name here, like this, even if I've not used it like this, I can use it like this because it's coming from here. If I print it like this, you see, it's coming from the argument, the parameter. Do you understand?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So then using dictionary, if you want to use a dictionary, which is key value pair, where you have the key and the value, like we are attempting in our assignment, you can pass, you can use two asterisks. You know, this one is a list, just a tuple, one asterisk. But for this one, you pass two asterisks and it's to show as a key value pair. Let me show you. Right. So I'm passing the key, name as Alice, age as 30, city as New York. So now I'm going to look through it like for key and value in this list. I'm going to say my data. Let me use my data instead. I'll call this my data and return my data. Right? Good. So inside this my data, I'll say for key and value in my data dot items, right? So everything inside, I want to now print the key and the value, right? So if I now run this, you'll see how it's print this. So it printed key and value, which is name and Alice, then it returned my data. So instead of that, let me remove this my data and bring it outside so that the list will complete. So you see, name Alice, age 30, city New York, right? So he printed everything in the my data. You understand?
Yes.
Right. Awesome. So that's that. So that's like defining different ways to define and call a function. I will also send you this code so that you can look through it. These are different ways to define and call a function. Right, now let's go to, we've also talked about function arguments and return values, which I just talked about. So using a return, we return the value to the user. You can now pass it into a variable, and the return value is also the end of the function. So if I put anything after this return value like this, let me open it. If I put anything after this return value like this, print C, it will not see it, as you can see. Okay, this code is unreachable because return value have already left the function. It's only when I move it out like this that it will now show that it's not inside this function, it's on its own. But if I put it back inside the function, it will tell you that it cannot reach the code. Can you see? So return is also the end of a function. Now, the next one is Lambda function. Lambda functions, let me show you. Lambda function are anonymous functions defined using the lambda keyword. So this is it here. Let me see. Okay, good. So it says they can take any number of arguments, but can only have one expression. As you can see now, you see all the other functions that we're creating. You have return, you have print. I can even add more print inside it. I can play around with it. But for lambda function, they can take any amount of arguments, but can only have one expression. Now, they're also used for short throwaway functions, like any function that is just for short term, you don't need to do much with it. That's what you use lambda functions for. Let me show you an example. So this is an example. So I created a square function. I don't need a def keyword. The only thing I need is this lambda keyword to say this is a lambda function. Now this is the parameter I'm passing, x. Can you see me?
Yes.
Good. And I'm saying square of x is x times 2. So it gives you x, anything you pass as x, and time multiplies by itself. If I say times 3 is multiplies 3 times, right? So now I'm passing 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So you see what is printed in the console. Okay, I need to print the result. Sorry. So the square is 25. If I say cube, if I change it to cube and do 3 and change this to cube. So that means a cube of 5. 5 times 5 times 5, 125. Can you see? Right. So that's a lambda function for you. All you need is the lambda keyword after the equal sign, then the argument. Then this colon is what tells you that your expression can come. This is another place here. Right. So add is the name of the function. Lambda is the keyword. Now I'm passing 2 parameters, A and B. The colon says now my expression can come. My expression is now A plus B. Now I can now pass A, add A plus B and put it inside result. Then I can have my result, which will be 15, as you can see. So that's lambda keyword. It's not long, it's not plenty, it's just one line of code that you can use as a function, especially if you want to do simple things like pass into another function, mathematics things, all of those simple things. You use lambda functions for them. Now, another thing is you can use Lambda function for checks, like conditional checks. So let me show you what I mean. Let me remove all this one. Right. So see, so this one now I want to check which of the value is bigger than the other, right? So I'm checking the max value using a lambda function. I'm passing two parameters a and b. I'm saying a if a is greater than b, else b. Understand? So I'm returning a if a is greater than b, else I'm returning b. So now a is not greater than b, so we return b, which is 10. Okay? So if I say a should be greater than b, then a will solve the printed. The maximum value. So all right. Do you understand it?
No.
Which one don't you understand? Ask the question.
That if if A is less than B, else B.
Okay. So it's more of a conditional, right? But this time, because it's a lambda expression, it's now done in a different way. We're saying that the A is what should be returned to the user if A is greater than B. Else return B. You understand? Right? So now I can say it like this. B, if B is lesser than, if A is lesser than B, understand? Then else return A is the same thing, right? But I don't confuse it. Let me even go back to the way, right? So I'm saying that return A. So this place is just return A if A is greater than B. But if A is not greater than B, return B. That's just what it's saying. Do you understand?
Yes.
So it's just lambda expressions. You can just check it out and read on it and you understand it better. Okay, so now we're going to importing and using Python modules. So there are some modules in Python that you can import and use them, like math module. This math module, you can import it and use it. I'll show you how. So if I import math, I can use the math because the math has um, methods inside of it that has already been created by the Python people. So let me just show you something. Math dot see all these methods. Math dot square root, cos, GCD, tan, distance, factorial, sine, pi, so many mathematical functions that you can use to calculate mathematics, right? So this is a module that have already been created and you can just use it. So we already use the square root method. So to check the square root of 25, so you see the square root of 25 is 5. Now, there's another one called factorial. The factorial of 5 is 120. What's factorial? Factorial means you multiply everything from 1 to 5. So we do 0 times 1 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4. Sorry. Let me see.
It's fine. It's 5
Um
times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1.
yeah, exactly. That's factorial. Yeah, so I was going the other way around. 5 times 4
Yeah.
times 7. Okay. So let's do this. Let's use our code. 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So now that will give us 120. Good. So that's factorial. So instead of now doing like this, you can now use the math method that was imported from math and the factorial. So the math module that was imported from math and use the factorial method inside it, then pass that. So if I say, let me check for the factorial of 10. Sorry, we have 3,000. Sorry, this is 3,628,800, right? So when you do 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6, you get that. So all of these methods, they are already present in the math module. Just shows you how easy it is to use modules that are already existing. So some codes are already existing. All you need to do is to find out which code are already existing. Then you don't need to do things like that. Like that join now. That join is an already existing code that helps join things in a list. Now, some other things like importing specific functions from math module. So instead of importing the whole math module, we can now import just some things from it, right? So I can decide to import just pi and sine and use that, right? Or I can just try to import factorial and then I can use it. You see that I've not used it, that's why it's not showing white, right? But now, because I've not imported square root, I cannot use square root. Let me show you. The square, square root of 5 is, he keeps saying factorial, factorial because he knows that I've not brought in square root. So you see that if I try square root now, it's going to say unresolved reference. That means it doesn't know about square root. But if I try factorial, it's going to see like this. So I can say for math, just import these three. I don't need everything. I just need three of them, and that would work. So see the pi. This is pi. The sine of pi over 2 is 1. Then the factorial of 5 is 120 because I just imported only those three methods. Then I can also create my own custom module. This math was not created by me. This math here, or this math was not created by me. But I can create my own custom module, right? How do I do this? All I need to do is create a new file, give it the name of my module. So I created this one called my module.py and created methods in it, like greet method, add method, and pi constant. Now I can use those methods, yeah. So I've imported the module, import my module. Now I can use those methods here, as you can see. So I can say my module.greet, the way I did um, up here, math.square root. I can say my module.greet, let me remove this. My module.add and my module.py. If I run them, you're going to use the method that I already created. So if you check inside, when I call greet, it's going to say hello Alice with the name that I passed. When I add, A plus B, what did I pass? I passed 5 plus 3, gave 8. Then when I checked for pi, which is a constant, gave me what was inside. So that's my own module. I can create my own module and import it. That way I am organizing my methods and my functions in a module. So now when you create a module, the good thing to do is always organize methods that are alike in the same module. What I did here is wrong. I did name and I put in this module. I did add and I put in this module. Name of this greet is a string kind of function, but then this add is a mathematics kind of function. So somebody will not know that when I want to look for add, I should come here. What if I have so many lines of code? But if I structure it well and say formulas, then I put add there, I put subtract. Then you know that when you go to formulas.py, that module, you'll see everything. But if I don't organize it well, then people will be lost. So you also want to organize your module properly. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. So the way we did import math, yeah, we can also do it another way. We can say for math, import asterisk, which means import everything inside math. If you don't want to import sum, you can just say import everything. So that one, you can either use import math or use for math import asterisk. So that one is pretty simple. Then we can also change and say, oh, I don't want to call it math when I'm using it. I want to give it a different name. I can say import math as M, right? Or my own module. Let me use my own module as an example. Import my module as, let me call it skill force, right? Now I can now say print skill force dot greet and pass in Alice, right? So there's nowhere in this my code that I use skill for to, apart from this place, right? Because now what is saying that this is my module, call it skill for from here on out under this place, right? And if I run it, you see that it will say hello Alice, right? I can call it another thing. I can say skill and then change it to skill there. So that is called importing a module as an alias. You give it a different name. That's how you can do that. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
All right, good. Any questions?
No.
Okay. So I'll upload this video so that you watch it again. I'll also give you this. Let me even give it to you now. Hold on. Let me copy everything and give it to you so that you can play around with it. Okay. Okay, so this is the second one for class. All right, good. So now you said you don't know how to submit your assignments.
Yes.
Can you share your screen? Let me show you how.
Okay. Okay. Oh, wait. The thing is that I did not do it on this laptop. I did it on
Oh,
the other laptop.
yeah, but just share a screen. You don't need to upload it now. I'll just share a screen. I'll show you
Okay.
how, then you try it on the other laptop.
They said I cannot share screen.
Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, now try.
Have you seen it?
Hold on. It's coming up. Yeah, I can see it now. So go to the classroom.google.com.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Okay, now you're there. Now go to classwork.
Where? Okay, here.
Classwork. Great. Scroll down. Let me see something. Okay. Okay. Scroll up. I think I should stop. I should remove those other ones from your view. Now, see any of these assignments, click on it. This backend Python with one assignment. Anyone? Good. Scroll up. Okay. Wait. Okay. Click on that three dots beside you on. Okay. No. Click on view instructions. Okay. So, see that place that says add or create. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is showing you. Now click on so you can either upload your file or you can create a Google Docs and paste your assignment inside the Google Docs. Any one of them. You can either click
But
file to upload it. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know how to save the assignment.
When you say save, how do you mean?
Or should I just, sir?
So like this now, if you click on browse, you find the assignment in your system. Or you drag the file and drop it on here.
I don't know how to save the file into computer system. Only in PyCharm.
Oh, it's already on your computer system. If if it's on PyCharm, it's already on your. Okay, let me show you something. Let me stop. Let, let me share my own file, my own system.
Okay.
Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can hear your screen.
I'm going to stop the recording now so that the recording is not too long.